What's something people who are in their 20s won't learn until in their 40s? Take care of your back. Damage from sitting long hours will start showing in your 40s. Chances are, regardless of how strongly you believe otherwise, you'll be a completely different person by your 40s. Also, your 20s last an eternity. The subsequent decades do not. Maintain your flexibility, physical and emotional. Managing adult emotions. They have more consequences when you get older. Your hearing is really important. Protect it. Spot on. Just turned 41 and have been dealing with headaches daily since September. Went to the DR and I have neck issues putting pressure in the wrong places causing cervicogenic headaches, basically from horrible posture while working computer-based jobs for 20 years. Don't worry so much about what other people think about you. It's more likely they're not thinking about you at all. Even if they are thinking bad stuff about you, who cares? They're wasting their own energy, don't waste yours too. It blows me away how fast my 30s went. I did so much but also had so much to learn. Learning that older adults are just as fickle as a teenager has been hard to grasp. Not stretching, especially when physically active in your 40s, is a pricey ticket on the sprain pain train. Saving for retirement. Avoiding debt accumulation. Lot of dudes out there with $300K, $500K in student debt that number six-figure job will ever pay off in this economy. And companies don't really care where you got your degree. I know too many people over 40 who act like they're 10. It's pathetic and irritating. Enjoy your quiet, non-achy, functional needs. Friends you make over shared vices won't last long. Not acting on intrusive thoughts. Patience. Letting go of things which aren't under control. This is about a perfect person at 40. That your back is more important than your job. I mean, I don't think they all get to retire, so investing might be niche advice. But investing is important at it, glad why all think so. Not in my 40s but in my 30s. I'm a big music lover and listened to a lot of loud music and went to a lot of concerts without hearing protection in my life. Paid the price with tinnitus and a constant ringing in my head. Honestly not fun. As a teenager and young adult, I did not care. Yeah, concerts are more fun without earplugs, but the alternative ain't fun. Enjoy this time. You'll be 40 before you know it, and can't believe how fast time flew by. No one cares how good you are at something if you're a complete dick about it. Just because you think you should do something, doesn't mean it is for you. Marriage, kids, career, etc. And companies don't really care about you. Fix that small error for you. Treat people who are in close proximity to you better than they deserve. Are your neighbors loud and annoying? Don't go to war with them, even if you win you still have to be right next door. Diplomacy, not a doormat or a hothead. Impressing people who don't care about you is a whole lot less valuable than it seemed back then. Taking an L isn't the end of the world. Take good care of your teeth. Being smart is worth only a fraction of what consistently showing up and doing the work is worth. Intelligence means far less than most people think. It's like a car with a great engine that can't transfer power to the wheels. The amount of times I tell students as a high school librarian that I don't remember my high school librarian, whenever they get overwhelmed by situations. Friends over vices don't last long, and then there is the advice that your coworkers are not your friends. And then you work so much you don't have time outside work to make new friends. So you don't really have friends in this life? All you have is family. My 20s flew by. I'm 30 and can remember graduating high school like it was a few years ago. Kind of scary if it goes any faster. I'm basically experiencing life like the fast-forward feature in the movie Click. How does one prevent this? I was incredibly lucky to have my parents pay for my college, but they said any more schooling would be out of my own pocket, meaning I'd have to take on student loans. I'm having trouble getting a job out of college like everyone else, and they occasionally ask if I've thought about going to law school, or going for my master's. I told them I wouldn't do that unless I had a verified path to something better. So putting myself in debt so I might get a job doesn't seem to be a good play. The most things they stress about in their 20s don't actually matter as much as they thought. Your life will consume any and all pay increases you ever receive. Most important thing to me is spending time with loved ones because everyone is aging with the speed of light. Appreciate your parents. I'm 33, married with a good career, house, newborn, and, while I don't regret anything, this is simply not for me. Oh well, here we are. The true power of compound interest. In a bad relationship, he's not, she's not, they're not worth your energy, time, resources, and they won't change. You will be happy when they're gone. You don't need them. And take care of your teeth. Romantic partners don't get better just because you love them with all your heart. Pay attention to the red flags the first time they present. When I give talks to students at my alma mater, I always tell them, people in this industry would rather work with someone that's pretty good at the job and very easy, pleasant to work with than the absolute best of the best if they're awful to be around and work with. Skill is important, but people need to be able to sit next to you for 8 hours a day. Being liked matters. The pops. Every time. Hearing too. Tinnitus is forever. Managing adult emotions is hard, and learning to as an adult is even harder. Sometimes you have to get specialized therapy to get to that point. Do the specialized therapy. Life gets much better. In my 20s, I'd walk into a room full of people and wonder if they like me. In my 40s, I walk into a room full of people and wonder if I will like them. Joke's on you, I'm 27 and I already have 2 loud, achy non-functional knees. I'm pushing 50 and I have no idea where the time went. True. If you can't manage your expressed emotions, especially negative or critical ones, when you're 25, people will give you a little bit of a pass, and just think you're kind of childish. If you're still like that in your 40s, people will ask WTF is wrong with you, mostly try to work around you, and generally will stop respecting your opinions. I recently had a birthday and it fucks me up how little time passed between this one and my last. The days are long but the months are short. Maintain your weight at a healthy level. Not only will 2 decades of obesity fuck your joints and general health, but losing weight after 40 is 1,000 times harder than in your 20s. Get it healthy now. Diet, fasting, jabs, whatever it takes. Then maintain that. I'm only 30. I agree. Instructions unclear. Let go of my steering wheel when I lost control of my car. That being right isn't always worth the fight, and compromise is an absolute necessity. Picking your battles is a basic guiding principle in your day-to-day life. You're not that important. Also, your 20s last an eternity. Couldn't disagree more. That shit took like 5 minutes. At this rate, I might be in hospice by the end of this sentence. 100 This. I've seen way more average people do really well just because they show up every day and don't quit. Talent helps, but consistency is what actually moves the needle. Find your independence from your parents. They won't be around forever to help bail you out of situations. And they will eventually need your care in return. There are no real adults. Everyone is faking the best version of adulting they can manage because they have to. Went to SDFU. Sometimes it's just better to listen. YMMB on this one. I've been getting drunk with the same losers for 20 years. My wife is 41. She wore high heels at work for years in her 20s and 30s and always complained about her feet hurting after a shift. Now, years after quitting those jobs, her feet and back hurt no matter what. Came here to say this very thing. Get a job with a pension or invest highly in a 401k or the like. One day you will get tired in a way that is unexpected and retirement will be forefront in your mind. Sadly, I'm working till I die. Don't be me. As a 24-year-old, I've always seen investing mentioned. As someone in the UK, if that's relevant, what would you recommend someone my age invests in that's worth it long term? And how much would make that investment worth it? That 40 isn't old. You should have found someone while you were in your 20s because the selection at 40 fucking sucks. Squat exercises are essential in the Western world, since we basically got rid of every reason to ever be in that position. End result is we don't typically have the muscles we should have to take the stress off our knee bones. In countries where they use squatting toilets, or sit on tatami mats to eat, knee problems are far less prevalent. I escaped a lot of knee problems by installing irrigation for as many years as I did squatting down to work with sprinklers and pipe. What if they're toxic? How good they looked in their 20s. LOL. Rather lose the fight than miss the war. I have definitely noticed this emotionally as I have gotten into my 30s. I seem to have a lot less patience for a lot of things. How do you work on that? How to listen to those in their 40s? Seriously, we've made all the stupid ass mistakes you're currently making and want to save you the trouble. Might want to listen, or at least take it in advisement. 20s were the best time to invest in your health, finances, and friendships. If you don't, you will see the result of that in your 40s. Fucked my shit up for 12 hours part-time. A dentist once described it to me as investing in your teeth. It's so true. Since having orthodontics in my 30s, I never get tartar, and my teeth are so much healthier. She was the wife of a friend, so not trying to just get money out of me or anything. People in their 40s need to learn how to give this advice in a non-condescending manner. This is so wrong though, just don't upsize your life. I can think of many scary things in life, but the scariest would be to be 45 and just starting to think about retirement. Nice try, person in your 20s. You're just gonna have to wait to find out. Good Lord, no. Not letting FOMO control you is wise, but taken to an extreme, you wouldn't ever do anything. Sometimes you are missing out, and that should motivate you to get off your butt and go interact with the world. You should listen to that instinct, as you will get more life stories and joy out of life if you do. The selection in your 20s is no better. You just didn't have the experience to know what you want. Wear SPF every day and moisturize your neck. Honestly, I don't think people turn into completely different individuals between their 20s and 40s. If anything, I notice patterns in how I act that were already there when I was a kid, like early signs of who I am now. I see the same thing in other people too, especially the ones I've known since childhood. Trying to force yourself into this idea of adulthood by rejecting who you used to be just feels unrealistic to me, like you're trying to act a certain way instead of just being yourself. Saving for retirement. I'm learning this in a positive way in my mid-30s now. The past 2 years, my retirement accounts have made more money from investment returns than contributions, after a decade of slugging away. Not giving any fucks. Because by 40 you're already all out of fucks to give. Traveling doesn't make you a good or worldly person. You'll meet plenty of bigots and SH bags that are well traveled. Let me amplify this: wear ear protection around any loud noise, especially at a concert. I've heard the phrase the days are long but the years are short. Tinnitus do be a fucking bitch. Dude, I meet people in their early 20s already complaining about having a bad back. RIP. It's an injury that never heals. My advice for everyone is exercise daily. Even a little. When I was 16, I said I don't want to be 60, and the guy in the cart at Safeway with all the flags. I've worked out every day. I'm middle-aged. I look way younger for my age and am in great shape. I'm 22 and I have 3 herniated discs already. I can't even imagine what it'll be at 40 LMAO. My retired neighbor talked me into wearing hearing protection when mowing. A few years later, and I am so glad he spoke up. Yup. You'll literally never feel richer, no matter how much more money you make. Take care of your bodily everything, really. Get checkups, regular dental appointments, get sleep, eat well, exercise. The liberties you take today will be the problems you face in the future. Also enjoy time without kids, a wife, a mortgage, etc. Once you have all that, it's nearly impossible to do anything outside the house, let alone take a week off with nothing to constantly worry about. Healthy romantic relationships don't have constant drama. Everyone is too busy caring about themselves to care about you. Wear that shirt, do that thing, make yourself happy. It's literally the difference between retiring and working for your entire life. That saving and investing in retirement should have been maxed out as much as possible in your 20s. How beautiful they are. 40 isn't as old as you think it is. In my 20s I thought 40 would be the twilight years of my life. Back hurts and I can't move like I used to, but this is definitely the best decade of my life by far. Also, enjoy your family while they're still around. That is, if you have or want a good relationship with them currently. Random aches and pains accumulate and get worse, until you eventually crave the sweet release of death. Go to the dentist. I know it's expensive, and it sucks, but it's only going to get more expensive and more sucky. Love the figure you have now. Your hormones won't be kind. You'll wish you had your fat 25-year-old body. Way less people are paying attention to you than you think. Be weird. Do whatever you want. Marriage is worth fighting for usually. It is not new and shiny, but she is your person. It is so much more difficult to stick to it sometimes. I guess then find something shiny and new. But unless you have valid reasons, of course. It is worth sticking to somebody who makes you laugh. Even if she does not put their dishes into the dishwasher like you told the 1,000 times. Most people who are my age, late 30s, that give advice are dumb as hell and give bad advice. Just because someone has made mistakes doesn't mean they know how to give advice to avoid those mistakes. After your teenage years, people start remembering things you did. They want to be forgotten to youth. I feel the complete opposite. I wish I would have got myself out more. I'm trying so hard to apply this every day. How fast it all flies by, lol. That's why the age obsession Gen Z is having is hilarious. Early 30s if you work blue collar. 31 and require spinal fusion, would not recommend. Failure is inevitable. Arrange reality so that failure won't be the last thing you ever do. Young people treat their bodies as if they're renting an apartment, only to find out it's pay to own down the road. Wear sunscreen. Actually, I acted on one thing I thought people would expect from me they didn't, which was arguably a good thing. I read through the Odyssey. I figured my family would think, man, Rathamite is really into mythology. I bet he's read the Odyssey in his spare time. A lot like they feel like their body will go on like that forever. In the habit since childhood. I played drums starting at age 7. I now keep custom earplugs on my keys because you never know. You miss absolutely nothing by not staying out longer. And quite often, you miss absolutely nothing by not going out in the first place. FOMO is not real and you shouldn't let it control you. The most together people you will ever meet are the ones who march to their own beat and have the strength to say, yeah, I'm just going to stay in this weekend and do my own thing. Have a great time without me. Debt can and will destroy you if you're not careful. You don't need to keep your friends from high school and college. By all means, if you like them, if you are growing together or share the same hobbies and beliefs, and they are genuinely good friends, then continue those friendships. Just don't do it just because you spend 4 years in the same location. People change and that's okay. Also, saving and investing. It may seem stupid and pointless to put 100 in an investment account rather than having fun now. But do that consistently, mo. My oldest friends that I still see are gym, hiking, riding friends. The stoners and drunks are all gone or just Facebook friends. How so? Surely this is only true if you are living beyond what your salary is capable of providing. For example, before a pay rise, let's say you spend $500 a month on things for your family. After the pay rise you would still stay at the $500 mark. Just because you get a pay increase does not mean you should up your spending. Instead, put the excess into savings. Surely. They should just listen to the sunscreen song. That 40 is not old. In your 20s, your body is beautiful. I don't care what you think is wrong with it. By the time you hit your 40s, you will long for the body you had in your 20s, and you will look back on that period of time and wish you had appreciated it more. I didn't realize until my 40s, with kids of my own, how great my parents were to us. I took it for granted in my 20s and I regret that. My parents loved us unconditionally, even when that must have been difficult. Stretch every day. You'll be a completely different person by your 40s. I want to push back on this. I'm wiser and more self-controlled. I can't drink like I used to, though maybe I was never good at it. But I'm still very much a refined, improved, balanced version of my 12-year-old self. Everything does hurt slightly more and for longer, though. My knees been loud like a rusty hinge even when I was like 12. If you let it. This is not true, lol. Man, I'd say the exact opposite. If you aren't happy, or are constantly frustrated or hurt, just leave. Life is short. You'll never have a chance of finding someone you're happy with while you waste all your best years if you settle. And also, being single is infinitely better than being with somebody who makes you unhappy. There are so many charming narcissistic people who make their partners' lives worse every day, and being smart and funny doesn't make that worth it. Which one of your injuries is coming back to haunt you? That you need to be maxing out your 401k. Health and degradation really start to become more noticeable. I'm in my 20s and already have a horrible back. Herniated my disc back in September. I can't even imagine how bad it'll hurt when I'm in my 40s. Also your knees. Just got mine replaced at 49. Best decision ever, lol. Also your 20s last an eternity. The subsequent decades do not. WDYM? I mean, that's true under our current climate, but the concept of retirement, or government benefits for the elderly in the US is less than 100 years old. The idea of retirement for the non-rich wasn't really a thing. It's a completely modern concept. Can you honestly look around at the world as it is right now, with things fraying on every edge of society, as money gets depreciated in value due to economic woes, that people will be realistically able to retire? In 20 years. Most people you think of as friends aren't. I miss my mom more in my 40s than 20s. She passed when I had just turned 19 in 2 months. I could take it along the stride when surrounded by friends and siblings at that time. I never married and never have been in a relationship. Having said that, my 30s and 40s were the times when I used to feel lonely all the same, looking for a partner. My emotions ran very high in those years, and I still remember a few times I teared up thinking of Ma. I do miss her now and then these days. I have tinnitus in my right ear from being beside loudspeakers in my 20s. Constant ringing and decreased hearing in it is very annoying. Bright side is I sleep on my left ear and shut out the world from sound, lol. One tip, easy start, is to stop soda and any sugary drinks. Do your best to avoid drinking calories. Occasional beer exempt. That nobody owes you anything. The tranquility of being home. Voting for Republicans won't make you rich or protect your rights. Yoga is underrated. This is very true. This is extremely subjective and seems to define value by capitalistic perspective only. Matters of the mind are incredibly meaningful to many people in a way that completely transcends the material world. If all you care about is money and your job, sure, but intelligence provides meaning to a person's existence in infinite ways, so this is a sad and reductive sentiment. This one can be counteracted if you're intentional about it. That goes along with everyone is replaceable. Took quite a few years to realize, no one is looking out for you, you need to do it yourself. Learned this lesson the hard way, when my dad unexpectedly died 5 years ago when I was 33. I didn't live at home anymore, but I relied on him for nearly everything else. Basically had to learn how to be an adult 15 years too late. The life insurance money was nice, but I'm a dumbass, so it didn't last. On the bright side, my car is paid off and I'm a homeowner now. It's been half a decade, but I'm still figuring out life. I feel like a 22-year-old in a middle-aged body, relying on my dad for the way the world is at the moment. People in their 20s will be lucky if they even alive in their 40s. Self-awareness. You are what you eat. And if you stay on the couch all the time, you'll eventually be a couch. Weary face. What people say about you behind your back is none of your business. Floss your teeth every day. Seriously. You'll be amazed how often there's a slice of meat, popcorn, shell, or whatever between two of your teeth you didn't even know about. Your dental tech will admire you and talk to you like they're a proud parent. If you feel like shit all the time, there's a good chance it's self-inflicted. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say currently I'd say 30 of the population never learned that, and that's going to grow to at least 60 with the main character social norms the youth has in their head. I didn't realize until I went to therapy that I didn't know how to manage my emotions. Now I know, and I see so many adults daily who have no idea how to manage their emotions. It's terrifying. I wish our government and student loan system didn't prey so much on poor children. It's so easy to take on debt you don't really understand when you are 17 or 18 years old. I am 41 and still have student loans from undergrad at a state university. I hate this system. I'm in my 30s and just starting in a decent career. I'm just starting the investing process, lolo. You talk as if everyone around us deserves to be treated well. Life isn't quite that rosy. There are some people who are so stubborn that even diplomacy is of no use. I'm 24 and am realizing that the vast majority of the things I worry about never come to fruition. We have problems, but that's a little dramatic. Imagine being born in the early 1900s. Having to deal with Spanish flu, WW1, the Great Depression, and WW2 all before your mid-40s. Any one of those was worse than anything we've had to deal with. We'll be fine. Your body is going to start breaking in ways you haven't imagined. Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it runs out. Better wear sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. Yes, every day. Yes, reapply. That 40 is not actually old. I've suffered from bad anxiety, and as soon as I hit 35 I just stopped caring what people think, and it's been great. Agree with saving for retirement. Companies certainly care about where you got your degree, but only if it's a school worth caring about. I tell my kids this all the time about college. My son didn't want to do community college under any circumstance, and I'm like, buddy, I went to CC for 2 years, but the only thing anyone ever hears is I have a master's from Northeastern. Do people normally have a hard time not acting on intrusive thoughts? I thought it was basic, common sense to control yourself. Gee, maybe that's why I feel like I'm surrounded by big children. I brush regularly, floss whenever I can remember, don't drink sugary drinks or eat candy cakes. But the soda water I've been drinking has been wearing away my teeth. I can't win. Complicated. Kept my distance due to what I now see as a narcissistic mother. Lost a lot of potential contact with my father as a result. Dad died of cancer during COVID, was devastating. Mother being alive now feels like an inconvenience. Both me and my sister have said we secretly hope she dies suddenly. I got her to give us power of attorney, but mostly as a stress reduction method if she gets dementia. Otherwise I want to be no contact. I recall a job when I was younger and I said I hard disagree. You barely know yourself until your mid-30s. Don't force that on another person just because society says you should. Nose hair too. Who you are in your 20s will in no way be who you are at 40. Let's face it, a lot of Redditors are 14-20, and so it's going to be even worse for him. The majority of you will not look back at what you say here or anywhere and feel good about or agree with it. If you do, that's a different problem. Nearly 50 and weirdly said so much of all the things you people say about society, politics, and capitalism. Thank God it wasn't all written down in public, lol. Please start investing. I didn't. I now appreciate how much 20 years of tiny savings adds up. Impact of compounding over 20 years. I seem to be an exception. I've worked software for over 25 years now. Mid-40s and my back feels fine. It never gives me trouble. I never exercise either except for evening walks. Your 20s last an eternity unless you go to grad school. Then, your 20s are over in a flash. Currently struggling by really hard with this in my 20s. Thanks. I'll do you one better. Your free time is more important than your job. Tell this to someone with ADHD me to give them a panic attack and achieve nothing else. I wish that was true. This is something humanity could learn from as a whole. What age obsession do you mean? Open and honest communication with your partner. You don't want petty stuff or misunderstandings to become a divorce-inspiring spectacle decades later. If you don't take care of your teeth well enough, the harm is not immediate. But 10-20 years later, you'll have ringing in your ears, your ability to focus will be worse, you'll start reading articles about how your teeth are a vector for heart disease and brain issues, and it's too late. Teeth are a problem because you don't know right away that you're failing to protect them, and by the time it's obvious that your whole mouth is going bad, it's too late to reverse the problem, and you just love isn't all they dreamed it would be. Sleep is the best medicine. Wrinkles in your 40s are from sun damage in your 20s. We're all gonna get fine lines, but unless you want your face to look like a road map, moisturize, hydrate, and wear sunscreen sun with face. It really does matter what other people think about you. Friendships you keep putting off maintaining quietly disappear, and by 40 you realize making new real ones is genuinely hard in a way you never anticipated in your 20s. My 20s didn't last anything. I'm 28.5, I was 16 2 minutes ago. All the 20s is just emptiness. You know how everyone warns you about listening to loud music on your headphones, how they say you'll go deaf? Upside down face, I met what they warned us about. This girl was 22 with hearing aids. I thought she had a lifelong condition, but nope, she literally just listened to too much loud music. She was alright with it though, she liked that when another annoying classmate would talk that she could just take out her hearing aids.